Coloma, California. A town you might not know about, but you should. Not only is the surrounding area rich with natural beauty, but its history is something of a parable. In 1849, this town changed the entire trajectory of the state of California forever. I want to tell you a story about a place without the name recognition of Yosemite or the flashy streets of Hollywood. However, this small town offers incredible insight into the creation of California as we know it, and offers a reflection on the potential dangers of man's desire. Let's take it back to 1839, when California was actually a province of Mexico. A Swiss man named John Sutter traveled to the Mexican territory of Alta California. He hoped to escape financial failures by developing land in the expansive region. Now, he couldn't exactly show up and claim the land. He first had to gain permission from the Mexican governor, which he did, and in 1841 began to set up Sutter's Fort in anticipation of building an agricultural utopia. A colony of sorts where he could get rich from farming and raising cattle. By 1848, Sutter had decided to erect a water-powered sawmill to aid in his expansion of the fort. He appointed his carpenter, James W. Marshall, to find a spot for him. He chose a spot about 40 miles upriver from Sutter's Fort, right here in present-day Coloma. It's no wonder Marshall chose this spot. It's truly a gorgeous area. Okay guys, so this is it. This is the replica of Sutter's Mill in the exact location where Sutter decided to build it back after receiving his 48,000 acre land grant, and he built it right along the South Fork of the American River, where he envisioned a thriving metropolis, but what he found was something a little different. Remember that land grant Sutter received from the Mexican governor? Well, it turns out that spot Marshall chose wasn't actually a part of that grant. You see, the land he chose had been inhabited by indigenous people for centuries. The mill's location was literally a few yards away from their stomping grounds. In fact, the town of Coloma gets its name from the nearby Nisenan village of Cullumah. We can still see the small grinding holes worked into the massive granite they used to call Grandmother Rock. These holes were called chausse and were used to process acorns. It's all that remains of their existence, other than some replica cedar bark structures set up by the park. The proposed location of the mill was on land that was not a part of the agreement with the Mexican government, but Sutter went ahead and ordered the construction of his mill anyway. Sutter recruited all sorts of help to construct his mill. He often exploited the local Miwok and Nisenan tribes for labor. He did so by inciting fear using his militia, and often murdered those who refused to work. The local tribes became slaves to Sutter. They slept in locked rooms at night without any bed or furniture. A truly horrific change from the once peaceful lives of these people, but Sutter's evil doings would soon catch up to him. One day, during construction, Sutter's carpenter, James W. Marshall, noticed little shimmers coming from a stream bed. After a closer look, he discovered gold. Marshall told Sutter, and they both promised to keep their secret from getting out. Which didn't last long. Word spread quickly, and soon enough a few thousand gold miners showed up seeking fortune. By 1849, that few thousand quickly became 80,000, and the term 49ers was coined, referring to the large mass of prospectors attempting to seek gold in the region. By 1853, there were 250,000 new settlers, mostly coming from the American East. At this point, John Sutter's hopes and dreams had been completely ruined. His property became overrun, and his goods and livestock were stolen by these lawless migrants. Now a failure, he left for Pennsylvania. The rapid arrival of newcomers surely had a devastating impact on Sutter. However, the massive influx of immigrants practically eradicated the estimated 100 to 700,000 Native Americans who had made this area home for thousands of years. Disease and starvation followed the arrival of the prospectors, and if that wasn't bad enough, they were frequently targeted in mass killings. The new settlers took liberties with their environment. They polluted the soil through mining, ravaged forests for timber, and clogged the rivers with sediment. They ruined the once pure land maintained by the original inhabitants. The population of California would only grow larger as more Americans rushed to the territory and soon claimed it for their country. Many today still move to California in hopes of material success, maybe not for gold, but possibly for other desires. We all carry hopes and dreams, but it's the darker desires we must be careful of. Man's deep desire for wealth or opportunity, whatever it be, is found time and time again throughout history. Some will do whatever it takes to get what they want for themselves and end up destroying anything that stands in their path. Man's desires can strip resources from our earth, leaving it worse than how we found it, and it can force out the people from their ancestral homes, causing pain within existing communities. That's why we need to understand places like Coloma. They remind us of our past. Its history shows us that many were willing to take a chance at success while disregarding the downfall of nature and fellow humans alike. It was purely selfish desires that brought these men into new territory, selfish desires that still plague man in the present. With environmental crisis and ethnic cleansing still happening today, we must remember history. We must find places like Coloma and think, how can we do better? As for Coloma now, it's somewhat of a ghost town. Miners abandoned the area when resources ran dry and spread out to look for other gold veins. By 1870, the population dwindled to 200 residents. What remains now are historical attractions and old trails for those looking to walk in the same footsteps as the infamous 49ers. With the departure of the masses, an eventual rewilding occurred. A hopeful reminder for us that we, as mankind, may still have time to undo our destructive actions toward our precious environment. However, the original people of this spectacular land in Coloma may never have their homes, and they may never be cured of their ancestral trauma. We must never forget the context that history provides, so we can change how we shape our future. It may be too late to fix our previous mistakes, but we must learn to never make them again.